Welcome to Small Business Stories, brought to you by the Monroe Chamber of Commerce. I am Mike Downhour, and this guy is Roy Heatherly.
Hello.
You know Roy. That guy over there is Quentin Durr with Louisiana Catalyst and Origin Bank. And this lady is Miss Nell Calloway, the granddaughter of General Claire Chennault, and we are very proud to have her with us today. Welcome, Miss Nell.
I am so excited about being here. This is great.
Well, in how many words can we say you have just a little bit going on? What would you like to discuss first?
Oh my goodness, there's so much to discuss first. You know, like we talked about earlier, one of the things that I really like the audience to understand is we have so much that we can be proud of being from Northeast Louisiana.
Yes.
We've had great things that have happened here, and people don't even know about it. They think of, where's Monroe? Well, we had Delta Airlines that originated right here in Monroe, Louisiana. In World War II, we had the largest navigation school, graduating 15,000 navigators.
Just like
we actually supplied over a third of the navigators in the China Theater and over in Europe. Wow. So we're really proud of the contributions to World War II. And then, of course, we have had, Coca-Cola started here. Wow. And I love to tell people about Delta Airlines because Delta Airlines would not have stayed in business if had it not been for the Beatenhorns, who had been the first to mass bottle Coca-Cola. So we have all of that to be proud of. And then, of course, as you said, General Chennault and the legacy that he left. He was a Northeast Louisiana boy, and he loved Northeast Louisiana. And he actually ended up setting records during World War II that's still never been broken to this day. So, when you think about Monroe, I had Huawei. I know Huawei no longer does business in the United States, but I had the vice president of Huawei that came to our museum. He was over $6 billion worth of business. When I got through telling him all the great things that have happened here, he goes, "Oh, I need to come to Monroe." I said, "Yeah, but you need to come to Monroe and you need to stay in Monroe."
Right.
That's what we have a problem with.
Leave your money in Monroe, yes.
Well, you do, and we're going to talk about the air show in just a minute, but you take you give people personal attention when they come to the museum, and you give them tours. And it doesn't matter who they are. You treat everybody equal, and it is such a wonderful, the history of just in that museum is, it is amazing what you have built out there and preserved out there. And so tell us a little bit about that. I'm curious about that.
Roy, I like to put it this way. I have had a great life. When I look back on my life, it has been such a good life. God gave me life. But our veterans are the ones that have given me the freedom to live that life. And we owe them so much. I can't do enough to repay them. Obviously, I'm past retirement age here, but I never served in the military. All I can do is try to serve those who have and try to help other people understand what we owe these men and women and their sacrifices that they've given just for us to be able to all say we enjoyed our life. That's what I want people to understand. Have you enjoyed your life?
Exactly. I have. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we owe it to them. And you focus on all veterans. They don't have to have had combat experience or anything like that. You focus on all veterans.
I had a 4-star general, actually, that came to the museum. He was with the Pentagon. And I was taking him through the museum, and he finally looked at me. He said, "Do you know what I like about this museum more than most?" Well, I was kind of surprised at that because I think he'd been to a lot of museums. I said, "What?" He said, "You are about the common soldier that served." When you come to our museum, we have over 12,000 artifacts on display, but we also have the stories of service. But if you go into all of our exhibits, you'll never see a person's rank on that exhibit. Now, when you read what they did in their story of service in the exhibit, you'll find out what rank they reached. But it's because everybody that ever raised their right hand and took an oath to protect our freedom is a hero to us. Some had more advantages than others did to be promoted and to go up the chain in the military. But everybody started down the same basic level of wanting to serve our country, and that is what I think is the most important.
I want you to tell the story. You have ties to the movie Forrest Gump.
We do. And it's really funny when you said that because Sammy Davis came into the museum and like you said, I thought he was just somebody coming to tour and I had a little bit of time and I toured him of the museum and he got ready to leave and his son said, he has a Medal of Honor. I said, oh, yeah, so do I. You know? And he said, no, he really does. So he pulled out his wallet and he showed me his Medal of Honor card. I said, oh, my gosh, why didn't you tell me? He said, because I kind of wanted to see the way you treated me without knowing that.
That's
so
amazing.
I got to know him, and he is actually the one who they made the movie Forrest Gump about. And he is the most unassuming person. If he were talking to you, it'd be yes, sir, no, sir. Even to you, Quentin, as young as you are. I mean, he's just that gentleman. But he said when the Pentagon called him and asked him if they could do a movie and use his story of service in that movie, he said, why me? And they said, it's because you're the one that got shot in the buttocks. So when you see the movie Forrest Gump and Johnson is putting the Medal of Honor around Tom Hanks' head, that is Sammy Davis's body.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
And we have, but his also is, you know, we had him when he came back. We did a little, had a speaking engagement for him, and there were probably about 300 or 400 people there. And when he got through talking, somebody, you know, we had a Q&A, and they raised their hand and they said, have you ever been back to Vietnam? And he looked at him and he said, every day of my life.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Oh, my.
Every day of my life. So that is why we do what we do.
Absolutely. Well, Mike.
Air show. We've got an air show coming up, and not just an air show. You had to step out and just do an outstanding thing a couple of years ago. And I remember you were talking about maybe once every few years, once every 5 years. We're going to do an air show here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
It went so well. We now do it every year, don't we?
We had over 15,000 people the first year.
Wow. Isn't that great?
That's
and
awesome.
watching the planes and the acts and the performances come in. Talk to us about the red, white, and blue air show.
I talked to somebody the other day that came to our first one, and he said, you know, I heard it was a first-year air show, and I thought, you know, I'd probably be okay. He said, I was totally blown away. And one of the reasons we have such an outstanding air show is we do it in conjunction with the Southern Heritage.
Good people there, too.
Yeah, Heritage Foundation. And 2 of their board members are in the Aerobatic Hall of Fame. So they do probably close to, I think, 100 air shows a year. I mean, they do a lot of air shows.
Wow.
So they know all these people, and, you know, they started out by getting them to come to our air show the first year, and now these people are begging to come back. That's how good our air show is. They love being in Monroe. They love being here. They're wanting to come back. We get more calls. We have to turn down more people. Now, of course, none of them offering to come free. So if they wanted to come free, we probably would let them. But we have so many people contacting us now to come to the air show. This year we have the F-16 Viper coming back, U.S. Air Force. It's their 50th anniversary, so they always put on a good show. We do have advertised that we had the Marine Ospreys. Unfortunately, they had to cancel because they had that bad accident. They were grounded, and when they got ungrounded, they're not letting them do any air show. But to show you how popular we are, the Marines themselves, they had 3 civilian air shows they were going to go to this year. Ours was one of them.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So they love coming here. We hope we're going to have the 101st Airborne bring 6 helicopters. And besides all, and then we have the Coast Guard that's going to be performing. The Navy will be represented there. So we will have all 5 branches of the military represented. And then we have, besides that, we have 9 civilian acts. And our civilian acts will blow you away. I mean, we're doing 2 twilight show, Friday and Saturday. The gates open at 3. And then the show is a 4-hour show. So come plan to stay a while. But the final act, Quentin, is a plane that goes up, it's lit, but then it shoots pyro off of it as it's flying.
Wow.
It is unbelievable. And unfortunately, we had them last year, but so many people didn't know about it, and they started leaving before they. Wait,
Right.
We've got
Don't leave.
this now. So the last 3 acts we have are going to be lit. So they're going to be up in the sky, lit. It's going to be just great.
And you have people coming from all over the world.
All over the
correct?
world.
And you've already sold tickets to people from
That's
all
what
over
I'm
the
saying,
country.
Yeah, from all over the world.
Country. We have a website, the Red, White, and Blue Airshow.com, and Holly gets dinged. There are probably over 200 people a day now going to our website. And Guatemala, Brazil, Japan, Hong Kong, Spain, those are just a few of the countries that have gone to our website, not just once, but repeatedly. And so, yeah, we're very excited. The first year we had it, people didn't really understand what an air show was. They thought we were going to have just a bunch of static airplanes, and they kept saying, "Where's it going to be, here at the museum?" And I'm like, I'm going to have a hard time taking off at F-16 down the
Kansas
street.
Lane is a little short for that.
That runway isn't quite long enough there. So they finally are starting to catch on around here. But over 32% of our tickets the first year were sold from out of state. We have people already from Washington State, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey I know of that have bought tickets, and probably a lot more that I don't know of. So people around the country are getting excited about our air show.
Right.
You know, we just got to get people in Monroe excited about our air
We
show.
have to locally get excited about it. We have to
Well,
support it.
Educate and, you know.
And one way to get excited is to work the thing. I got to be a part of the Golden Knights and fly with them on that one air show. I wanted to jump, but they wouldn't let me, but oh well. But anyway, volunteering. You need volunteers. How do we get involved with your air show?
All you have to do is call, give me your name and number, and you're on my list.
And what kind of volunteers? What do you
you'll
need
never
people
come
to
off.
do?
It's really not complicated. And yeah, we need about 80 volunteers at least a day. We're doing a concessionaire this year. Instead of having the different food trucks, this concessionaire goes all over the country. They do they do a lot of the races, the car races, and they do a lot of other air shows. So they have all the different fair food, if you so to speak. But it's going to be great because they have a huge variety of food, and they have to get the food out within 2 to 3 minutes when you order it.
Okay.
So they know how to do that. They know how to get it out. Part of the problem is when you're feeding 15,000 people, you know, it's hard for sometimes the people who aren't used to serving that fast and that number. So it just seemed a little bit less complicated this year. We're going to give it a try, see how it works. But from what I hear, we called several different places they've done before, and everybody has given them rave reviews for their food. So,
And what's the dates?
the dates are May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, the first weekend of May.
Okay, first weekend of May.
And I know you have such a large group of employees and all these wonderful people put on the show, and it's really just 3 people, and one is 89 years old.
He is. He'll be 89 in July.
So why don't you introduce them and talk to us about what they
Judge
do?
Elvis Stout. He was a sitting judge for 20 years. And then he made the mistake of coming in and volunteering for the museum.
Got on that list you talked about.
Yeah.
And he's never left. But he's like me. He believes in what we do. And that's the reason he comes, and he works every day, and I don't know what I would do without him. If you want to keep your mind sharp, stay working.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
Yep.
Is stay working, because his mind is very, very sharp for somebody that's going to be 89. And then Holly is our director. Holly's husband is a 100% disabled veteran. And, you know, that's one of the reasons we haven't mentioned it yet, but we provide a lot of veteran services, Quentin, at the museum that a lot of people don't know about. We have been doing PTSD clinics for combat veterans for over 10 years now. And we're wanting to expand those services because, like Holly said, when her husband came home from Iraq, severely injured, many back surgeries later, there wasn't anybody there to really kind of say, look, you can expect this, or this may be the way things are. And like she said, they go away to service, but they come back somebody different. Right. And then the family has to readjust. And honestly, to be honest with you, fall in love with this new person that's come back. She fell in love with this man that came back because he left after, when 9/11 happened, he looked at her and he said, I'm going to go, I'm going to join because I want to protect my family.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And that is what they do. And then they come back and they're changed in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And so we want to start expanding our counseling services to help the veterans' families because we still have soldiers. We may not be in a war, but we still have soldiers that are being deployed for up to a year. And our National Guard just down the road, so many of those guys have been deployed 5 and 6 times, you know. And one thing about soldiers and veterans, they never come home and complain. You don't hear them walking around complaining about, you know, the fact that they had to miss so much. You don't hear their families complaining about the fact that their husbands weren't home. They just feel like it's their duties, and they're doing it for us. And that's why we have to do something back for them.
Right.
As a community, we all need to support you all we can, because you are a treasure out there, but you're doing such good work. How do people get involved besides just calling you to volunteer? Can you be a member, or tell us about that?
Absolutely. Our memberships start at a whopping $25 a year, so it's not a burden to anybody. And we don't have we have probably about 1,000 members, but we, in a community of 50,000, you would think we would have so many more. So we would love, love, love for people to join us and support what we do. Not just the museum, but our veterans programs. But then we have corporate memberships as well. And we tried to keep those down to around $500 starting, because that way, if you're a mom and pop, but you really want to support these veteran programs and this museum, then it's not a huge burden on you. So it starts at $500, but we go up to $100,000 if you really want to get involved. And so and then we have, but we are a private museum. We don't get any state or federal funding.
That's important
So
to know.
we're totally dependent on these memberships and donations and events that we have. That's why we need to make this event successful, because it's a big event. And then we also have, want to say real quick before we have to close, on March 29th, we're having Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Day. You know, most people who know anything about Vietnam, and that's my era, but these guys got treated terribly when they came home. Horribly. We did a video that's called Some Call Them Baby Killers, We Call Them Heroes. And it's 9 local veterans who talk about what they came home to, and the people and having things thrown on them and all that. So this is our way of saying thank you. Texas Roadhouse feeds the veterans for free. If you want to come thank them and eat with us, it's $10 a plate. So Texas Roadhouse is by far worth
Absolutely.
$10 a plate.
Right.
So we're really, but that's March 29th, starting at 11 o'clock. Roy, we'd love to have you join us for that day too.
Absolutely. And tell us where the museum is housed.
The museum is housed in one of the last remaining buildings, the largest navigation school. We graduate 15,000 navigators. And if you ever go down the airport, you know, you see those granite markers down there. Do you know what that is? A lot of people don't. They never walked over there. That is the 1,500.
I do know that. I went over there and looked. I do know that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I
that
did.
graduated from the navigation school that did not make it home.
Yes.
Oh, I
That
did
were
not know.
KIAs. Over 1,500 of our boys from our navigation school did not get to come home.
Nell, I know you didn't want to talk about yourself, but you are amazing.
We'll talk about you.
And you are a hero of our community. You are. For what you're doing and for who you're helping, you really are. And I tell you all the time, your grandfather would be very proud.
I
Yes, he
appreciate that. I hope he would. Because, you know, he didn't smile very much when he was here. Hopefully he's up there smiling a little bit now.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, Miss Nell. One more final comment, the website for the air show.
redwhiteandblueairshow.com.
All right. Thank you.
And one more quick thing. The last weekend in May, we have our Run for the Red, White, and Blue, our Memorial Day run. And last year, it was the biggest run in North Louisiana. We had over 700 runners.
Wow.
So this year, we're expecting even more. So we've got 2 big things in May.
Yes, you do. Wow.
We love you, Nell.
She'll be yelling Mayday
You're
for long.
amazing.
Look out, look out. All right. Thank you, Miss Nell Calloway. This has been Small Business Stories. We appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.